Is your business protected against the threat of malicious litigation and frivolous lawsuits? Are you sinking company profits into marketing campaigns that do nothing to contribute to the growth of your business? Bottled Business Sense provides practical business perspectives that uniquely emphasize both legal and media marketing strategies to protect and ensure the longevity of your business. Now, whether you're trying to provide a startup business with some level of stability or an established business with foolproof asset and estate protection, or simply attempting to get a better return for your business marketing dollars, Bill Bernard and Rick Moscoso will expose potential pitfalls to ensure the security and growth of your business, free from unwanted expense and the threat of litigation. You'll learn how to implement marketing and protection tools equal to those used by today's most successful corporations. Let's join Bill and Rick for today's Bottled Business Sense show.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday at 10 o'clock here on the Bottled Business Sense show. I am one of your hosts, Rick Moscoso, and welcome to all our viewers and listeners out there. And on the other side, we have my co-host, Mr. Bill Bernard. How you doing today, Bill?
Good morning, Rick. I'm doing great. Thank you. Ready for another show, another Bottled Business Sense show. This is our 52nd show, I believe, which ends our first year of being on the air. We're proud of that, and we're pleased to be able to obviously bring our viewers and listeners some very practical legal and marketing tips that help their business prosper and be protected at the same time. And that after all was our goal from the start, right, Rick? When we started this show, that was what we wanted to try to do, and I'm hopeful that we've accomplished that in the first year.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, our focus was really to help the small business owner out there, and not so much give the hard and fast advice, but just some tips as it pertains to, like you said, marketing and legal aspects of their business, so they can run a little bit more efficiently and smartly, and hopefully learn from the topics that we've talked about over the last year.
That's right. And I think we would be remiss before we start the show if we didn't mention the passing of a great artist. B.B. King passed away, and I'm a big fan of his. And you know, I know he, from what I understand, liked timepieces as well. So how could you not love B.B. King? He was just a legend, and we're all sorry to see him go. Had a number of quite successful businesses himself, by the way. But anyway, without further ado, what I thought we would talk about today would be the show entitled, Is Your Business Name Trademarked? And I think it's important to bring this topic into the fold. We're going to speak to you about some generalities and some things that you basically need to know so you can go out and research this topic a little more. Because I think there's a lot of confusion in the marketplace, Rick, as to what a trademark is. And I think it's important just to say it very succinctly at the top of the show.
Right.
A trademark is any word, phrase, symbol, or design. So we can say it again. Word, phrase, symbol, or design. That's the first thing. The second part of that is it identifies the source, okay? That identifies the source of a product or service that distinguishes it from your competitors.
And
okay, WFP Legal Consulting distinguishes me and my legal service from other lawyers. Okay,
yeah,
so remember,
right.
It's a word, phrase, symbol, or design that distinguishes a source, a product, or service from other competitors in the marketplace. Go ahead,
Right.
Rick. I'm sorry, you're going to say.
And this. No. That that begs a question, although it's not part of the topic today.
Leave it to you to go off topic, Rick.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. But you know, that makes it a little bit clearer hopefully for our viewers and listeners out there, because the question I'm sure they're going to ask is what's truly then the difference between that and a copyright, or not a copyright, you know what I'm talking about, right?
A patent? A patent?
No.
Oh, you mean a business, registering a business, like a DBA or an LLC or something like that? That's a very important question, and we're going to get to that in just about 2 seconds. That's the second point I'm going to cover. But the first point is the purpose of a trademark, and that is to protect. There's that magic word: protect a category of goods or services that you are associated with. I'll give you a good example. Nike owns a variety of shoes, clothing, sporting goods, as we all know, right? But there's also a Nike corporation that makes hydraulic lifting equipment.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that. Interesting.
yeah. So Nike has no confusion in the marketplace with their trademark versus anything that Nike would be doing. The other company Nike would be doing, Nike Corporation, regarding hydraulic lifting. So it's got to be relegated to a particular category of goods and services, and it's got to identify you with that category of goods and services, and it's got to be a symbol, a design, or a phrase of some sort.
So are you
Now,
saying then?
Go ahead.
Yeah, are you saying then there could be two of the same name, but since they reside in two different categories, they can still coexist in the world, or
Right.
or
And
what?
right. In other words, if you want to trademark the Nike symbol, you're going to go apply and you're going to say, we're trademarking this symbol, our logo, for our category of goods and services. It doesn't mean that Nike Hydraulic Corporation can also get a trademark for what it does, because they have the same name. Now, obviously, they're not going to be using the same symbol or logo, more than likely as Nike Sporting Goods. But the point is, Nike, even though they have the same name, you can get a trademark if you can associate that name with a particular category of goods and services that are unique to what you do.
So
And
what?
obviously, hydraulic equipment is far different than sporting goods.
Now, wouldn't that create? I mean, you could certainly ride the wave a little bit with the brand name, but wouldn't that in any way, shape, or form? Well, I mean, wouldn't Nike get PO'd about that if, let's say, I started something called Nike Marketing?
Well, they would have to challenge you, and their challenge would have to show that it creates confusion in the marketplace. In other words, that somebody would confuse what you're doing with their sporting good brand. And that would be, in some cases, a hefty burden to swallow, because the whole import of this trademark concept is not to confuse the same goods and services. Mm-hmm. So you want to show you're unique in a particular marketing category. This is going to come together a little more, I think, as we go on. This is really a more of a cohesive presentation, where as we go through each step, it presents another piece to the puzzle, which I think will help conceptualize it a little easier for our listeners and viewers. But certainly your questions are apropos. It begs the question that you were getting at the top of the show, and that is, well, what about an LLC or a DBA? Well, remember, an LLC or a DBA or an S corporation or a business entity, and a DBA, of course, is not a business entity doing business as. Nevertheless, you file that DBA with the county or city government, whatever in your locale requires. But that prevents somebody else from taking that name in your state. A trademark prevents somebody from taking your name in all 49 states. Okay? So you have a similar name of a business in another state that's producing the same goods or services as you. If you trademark your name, that's going to prevent somebody in states other than where you have your business registered with the Secretary of State. That's going to prevent them from using your name in those other states. That's the difference between a trademark and registering an entity. But the unique feature about both of them, of course, is that they both provide protection, just in different ways.
Okay.
So that's important. And then, of course, we go on to the next step, which is, okay, and I've had this question asked of me many times, when's the right time to trademark your company name? Do it right away. You go on the U.S. Copyright and Trademark website, and they will provide you with a search engine where you can do a comprehensive search to make sure that no one else has a name similar to yours in the category of goods and services that you're looking to trademark your symbol, name, logo, design. Okay, so you want to make sure. Why is that important? I think our listeners need to know that it's important not just from your own perspective of wanting to trademark your business, but it's important so you know before you do it, before you apply, whether or not you'd be potentially infringing upon someone else's business. Okay, you want to make sure that there's nothing out there already filed so that you don't go ahead and use a name and infringe upon somebody else's business. Because remember, you could still use the name without registering it as a trademark, and then somebody's going to come after you. And that we'll talk about the remedies that somebody has at the very end of the show.
Now, would there be any situation or any reason why they wouldn't approve the trademark?
Oh, there's many reasons. It could be that it's obvious one, it's already taken, or there is some particular confusion in the marketplace where somebody has a name similar to the one you're trying to trademark, or the design, or the symbol. There could be a lawsuit already pending on an issue involving either that name or something very similar to that name. So you have to be very, very careful when you're involved in that sort of thing, and that's the whole point of the search engine. The search engine is there for you to be able to search out and find out if you've got the potential to trademark this name, symbol, logo, or design.
Okay. So once a business goes into the process then of trademarking their business, is it kind of like patent pending, where once you've issued the request, then no one else can come in behind you and take it while you're in process?
Once you've filed it, you're good to go in a number of respects. However, that doesn't mean that somebody can't file after you in the hope that they get approved and you don't. Because remember, it takes 9 months to several years in some cases to trademark your business. And I will tell you that usually the process on average takes about a year, but it can take 9 months to several years depending upon the complexity, any conflicts or legal issues, as I just mentioned, that are pending with the U.S. Patent and Trademark offices. And they have to examine your application. And by the way, you know who goes over these applications, don't you? A group of lawyers. Not just one, but a group of lawyers who will just pick this thing apart. But you are given a receipt once you file, and that receipt puts you in line. It shows who's filed in terms of time. It gives you a place in line, so to speak, and hopefully you're the first place in line.
Yeah, I can just imagine what that room looks like, with that room of lawyers sitting there pouring through all the trademark applications.
Let's not crack any lawyer jokes now, Rick. We're on target here. So, yeah. But yes, I understand. It can be a complicated process, and these people are intellectual property law. If you're a specialist in that area, believe me, you can get some prestigious jobs, especially with the United States government. The next area that I want to go into briefly is what class or what category should you choose? For example, do you want to, when you go into the website, you will see different categories. There are software categories, categories for electrical and scientific apparatuses. There's a handy search feature that you can go into, and I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to trademark a name or a design or a symbol that's associated with a particular beer. That's one classification. That's one category. Non-metal taps for tapping beer kegs. That's a totally different category. And beer pumps, that's yet another category. So you would have to trademark and file applications or file an application indicating what classes your application is applicable to. It's not just beer in general. It's got to be very specific, very oriented towards the service or the product that you want to trademark. And in some cases, you may need to file multiple. Applications depending on how complicated it is.
So are you saying that if I'm a manufacturer of products like that, and let's just take your beer example, and I make these different products that I distribute to breweries, are you saying then that each of these specific products I have to trademark?
No, you don't have to do anything but die and pay taxes. but you know what you do have to do is say, okay, what do I want to associate my business name with? Is it beer? Am I a beer manufacturer? Do I want to also market beer pumps? Do I want to market beer kegs? If I do, I better put those categories of products on my application. And you know, there's about 45 or so last time I looked. I think there's about 45 different categories that you have to look at when you're going in to do something like this. Before we get on to the last part of the show, I want to just do our quick commercial here and tell you who our sponsor is today. Our sponsor is Steve Smith of Growth Source Coaching, and you know, Steve is a unique guy. I've known him for quite some time now, and he has the ability to fit right into the mold of what we do on this show. He protects your business and promotes your business all in one fell swoop because he provides you with the tools that you need from an objective standpoint as to, you know, what you can't see, he sees, and he says, okay, here's what you need to do to grow your business. And here's how you're going to protect it at the same time, because while you're growing it, you're going to be prosperous, and you're going to go see somebody like Bill Bernard to set up your business. But all kidding aside, Steve is not just a business coach, but he's a consultant in my view. He's able to take a very unique, objective perspective to your business and make it grow. And I don't say things like this lightly because I'm not a big guy for going out and just finding people, all kinds of people that get involved in your business. You got to make sure the person's a professional. You got to make sure they know what they're doing. And I've vetted Steve for a while, and I can't say enough about him. So, Steve Smith at Growth Source Coaching. He's in Lake Forest. And Rick, can you give us Steve's contact information?
Of course, you would hit me with that, and I'm not totally prepared, but I will have that down here below the down below the video, and okay. and everyone will have Steve's contact information there.
And I know it's Steve Smith at GrowthSourceCoaching.com, and again, you can find him on Google Plus and LinkedIn and Facebook. So please contact Steve for any business needs that you might have in terms of growing your business. You cannot go wrong. Let me get back to the show very briefly here, Steve. Rick. I want to mention the fact that, you know, people ask me many times, okay, how long is a trademark good for? Well, generally speaking, it's good for 10 years, and then you're going to have to reapply. So you want to keep your declaration, which your declaration is just what it is. It's a declaration saying you're being truthful. You want to make sure your application is up to date, and in 10 years you just submit it again and renew it. And the other question I'm always asked is, should I register my company name or logo? Name or logo. Well, you can register your company name and logo in the same application. You can't. I beg your pardon, you cannot. So sometimes you have to file multiple applications, one to register your business name, one to register your business logo. Because remember at the top of the show we said trademarks apply to logos, designs, symbols, and phrases. So your business name could fit into the phrase category, and then you might have a logo or a symbol or a design that you also want to associate with your business. So you'd want to trademark both of those. Very, very important to make sure that you cover all the bases. You know, It's funny. This has happened in the Hollywood area many times. We don't often see it happen in general business practice. But one of the questions I got from a client about a month or two ago was, "Can I trademark my name?" Well, my personal name. And well, in other words, and I think I mentioned this briefly at the top of the show, if your name is associated with your business, WFB Legal Consulting, that's not quite William Bernard or Bill Bernard, but it certainly has my initials in there. The law offices of Bill Bernard. You can try to put some uniqueness to that name. A personal name can be trademarked if it is in fact distinctive. If it is distinctive, the more common your name, the less likely your application can be approved. Now, why did I mention Hollywood before? Well, because there is a statute called the Anti-Cyber Squatting Consumer Protection Law. Let's say that 3 times fast. Anti-Cyber Squatting Consumer Protection Law.
Squatting?
Okay? Anti-Cyber Squatting. Yep. Okay. Consumer Protection Law. And that means that someone could be squatting on a domain name. Who comes to mind? Anybody you could think of?
Oh, there's a lot of them out there that'll do that.
One of the more famous ones was Morgan Freeman, the Hollywood actor. Someone was just squatting and sitting on his domain name of www.morganfreeman.com, and he sued to get that domain for himself because he had registered his name, trademarked his name as being unique. Morgan Freeman, right? The actor. It's a little different than Bill Bernard or Rick Moscoso, although maybe Bill Bernard's a little more famous than Rick Moscoso. I don't know. But in any event, it is that uniqueness that allowed him to pursue getting this domain back through the Anti-Cyber Squatting Consumer Protection Law. So there was a statute there for him to be able to avail himself of that. And, these things that you need to understand in your business, these things are critical if you're going to run the gamut and make sure you've got all your bases covered, and that's what we try to do on this show. And so the last thing I really want to cover in this area is what happens if somebody uses my trademark. Well, the first thing was hire a lawyer, and they write a cease and desist letter, and they say, this symbol, this design, this logo, this phrase has been trademarked by the U.S. Trademark and Patent Office and U.S. Trademark and Patent Office. Accordingly, cease and desist from its use immediately. If that doesn't work, guess what? You end up in court by filing a lawsuit, and you end up in federal court because why? The United States trademark. It's a federal statute. It's a federal guidelines govern trademark, patent, copyright. So accordingly, you're going to sue in federal court, and you can get money damages big time, believe it or not. There is a lawsuit going on as we speak between Android phones and Android wristwatches. Android wristwatches actually came out before Android phones. And Android phones is claiming that there's confusion in the marketplace, and of course Android wristwatches is saying, what do you mean? I had not only had this name first, but I'm dealing in timepieces, you're dealing in phones. Well, it'll be interesting to see how all that comes out, but in the end, but what's the moral of that story? It's just what I say every month in my newsletter, at the top of the newsletter under the monthly caption. You can be sued at any time for anything, and it's going to cost you money in the long run unless you settle in some way or you're able to win the lawsuit quickly. So you want to make sure that not only your trademark is covered, but all of the other things that are required to protect your business, both personal assets and business assets, are covered at the same time. So I hope this has been of some help to people today. It's a more brief show, but I wanted to touch upon it as another link in the protection concept that we try to provide our listeners and viewers. And let me just summarize. Make sure that you have a word, phrase, symbol, or design that is unique to a particular category of goods or services that you're associated with. Make sure you do a search to make sure that the name hasn't been taken, and you can go to the government website to do that. Make sure that you do it in a timely fashion and that you realize that your trademark will be good for 10 years. Make sure you renew it after 10 years. Make sure you pick out all the classes and category of classes that you need to encompass within that application. If your product and service is going to cover more than one class, like the beer keg and the beer pump example we gave earlier, then apply for all of those. And make sure that if you need to, you include your name in the trademark concept as long as it is part of something, as long as your name identifies your business. That's the real key there. So, with having said all of that, I hope somebody got, our listeners and viewers got some benefit out of the show. And I want to announce, I'm very proud to announce, I think I echo your views as well, Rick, that after this 50-second show, after our first year, we're going to be entering a new year, and we're going to change up the show just a little bit. We're going to have some guests on that do maybe some different things than what we've normally done in the past. But we're going to have a very special guest on for the next month, the next 4 shows, who's going to give us some very unique business and marketing concepts that we can take to the bank to grow our business. And we mentioned him during our commercial break. And his name is Steve Smith. And Steve, I believe, is joining us at the present time. I'd like to welcome Steve and have him come in and tell us a little bit about what we're going to see in the next month. Welcome, Steve. How are you?
Welcome.
I'm doing great. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Bill, for having me on.
So tell us a little bit about what we're in store for the next month. I'm really excited about it.
Well, when you guys came to me and asked me if I would do this, and naturally I was very happy to be able to do it. I was very thankful that you guys thought of me for this. But then I started to think about the premise of your show, because I'm just going to be guest hosting. I'm not going to be taking over. So, I thought, all right, based on what I do, how can I provide a different business building perspective and still maintain some integrity with the show? And so what I came up with are some topics that, although they will have a tremendous impact on your ability to grow and run the business you have, they're all really focused on what I consider to be probably the most important single element of your business, and that's you. Your business is going to run the way you run it, and anything you can do to tune up your own competency, your own skill set, make yourself more confident about how you go about running that business is going to have a tremendous effect, on the top line, the bottom line, everything in between. So, my form of helping you protect your business is by helping you become the best business owner you can be. And so I thought, all right, so what are we going to talk about? All right, I thought everything that I'm going to bring in the month of June is going to be based on personal tune-ups, personal development areas that once you understand why they're important and you're able to figure out how to actually apply them in the type of business model that you have, you're going to see some benefit from doing this. So here's an example. The first show, I'm going to cover this area that I call how to make goal achievement a way of life. We talk a lot and I read a lot, and I hear people say a lot about setting goals. But what I don't hear much about is what happens after they set them. You guys probably remember this fellow who's been on TV shows for years hawking his products. Guy's name is Ron Popeil.
Mm-hmm.
He had that pocket fisherman and all these other things, and his latest gadget is this rotisserie, and his tagline is "Set it and forget it." You remember that?
That's right.
Yeah.
And we got my wife got trapped into that. She bought one. And now it's sitting in the garage. But below and behold, we bought one.
That's to my point, because people take that same mentality and they apply it to their goals. They set them and they forget them. And somewhere around the tail end of the year, when it's time to become accountable for what happened during the year, they pull out the sheet of paper that it's written on, and then they think, oh, gee, missed that one. Let's add it to the list for next year. And so what I've come to realize is that for many people, not reaching your goals has become a way of life. And the only way to change that is to break that cycle and to understand what is causing that and how you can go about rebuilding some behaviors and habits into your daily routine of running your business so you don't miss goals. So you meet them, you exceed them, and your business and the rest of your life, responds based on that. So, we're going to start with that. Then we'll talk about this one that I've told people a lot of. I've done some research on, and I get a lot of good response from it. It's called Power Up Your Routine and Boost Your Results. And it's all about how to be productive. And not just productive on anything you touch, but being productive on the right stuff, the most important stuff. So, that's what I'm planning to bring to your show in the month of June. Things that you can internalize and make yourself better as a business professional, as a business owner, so that your business will respond better and become a better business to run.
Well, I think that's listen. I can't wait to be a part of it. I've looked forward to this for quite some time. We'll be starting with Steve on June the 2nd, Tuesday, June the 2nd, I believe, will be the first of the 4 shows. Rick, anything you want to add? I know you're looking forward to this as well.
Oh, I am, because this has always been an interest area of mine, a different angle on marketing, but marketing starts with you, and Steve knows that all too well. We don't talk a whole lot about personal development or personal focus on the show. But this is going to fit perfectly into the theme of what we do.
Well, fantastic.
Glad to be
we're looking forward to it. As I said, Steve, can't wait. And I know that a lot of people that you're associated with will want to tune in and watch this as well, either to get a refresher course or to learn something new. So thank you again, Steve, for agreeing to do this. We'll look forward to seeing you on June 2nd. So until then, I want to wish all of our viewers and listeners a prosperous week. Don't set it and forget it. Go out there and make some money. Protect your business and be prosperous. So until next week, I want to say God bless, and we'll see you again for the next show.
All right, everyone. Have a great day. Steve, we're looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Okay. Take care, everybody.
Take care.